All right, it's gonna be a long video. Yeah, Starbucks. All right, I gotta get the string wet so it ships through a little bit. I'll probably do it with dry. Do it while it's dry too. Actually, I'll have to try that next time. Do it with the batter dry, dry and stretched. This way it doesn't seem to tangle too bad. Okay, now I'm gonna go underneath. That goes over, come across. I'm gonna go under. Actually, if you're gonna go under this one, you're gonna come from underneath too. Come when you go through the loop. If you're gonna go underneath the next one, you gotta come from underneath. Mm-hmm. This side's gonna go over it, so I'm gonna come over to it. I'm not going with it from here now. Oh, see, I made a mistake here. I'm gonna come underneath this one. Oh no, it doesn't matter, does it? No, I'm going over this one. Go from over. All right. And sometimes second guessing yourself is just as bad as making a mistake. Well, it is every time. If you believe yourself, if you believe your error. And then over this one, and then this one is going over that. That's under. This one is over, so this one's going to go under. Whatever. Okay. Hope I got this right. Sometimes I've had to take this thing apart. I took, when I first did this yesterday, or yeah, yesterday, just figuring this out, I literally took the, unstrung it and unstrung it like, oh, at least 10 times or something. And the babbage was like stretched out by then. Yeah, but consistency pays off because if you just get a little bit wrong, it sure don't come out right. Oh, shucks, see? I was supposed to go under this one. Shucks. Okay, so here's what I mean. Unspring it now. And fast, slow, slow is fast. So, but when you're on video, you know, start not thinking with your head, you're thinking about what you look like, and also how whether the people are losing interest in watching or something stupid like that. Under, over, under, round, upside down. Okay. This one, it weaves. This one is the one that weaves it in the end. Makes it all come together. Tighten it up a little. If I had like braided twine, it would probably be better for this part. But I've got a lot of this babish, but it turns out it takes a lot more babish than I thought just to do this part, especially this part. It takes almost half a moose hide, man. Okay, so now I'm going under these ones. So what you're paying attention to is, see, this line always goes under these ones. On this side, this line always goes over these ones. So you just got to keep track. Got to look at the other side, and whatever the other side is doing, you do it opposite. Now, and then, for instance, so this one right here is always going over these ones, and it's always going under these ones. And it's just vice versa otherwise. And since it's going under these ones, it's going to go over these ones. So it's like I don't know, almost like playing cards or something. And then I'm gonna go across on the bottom, so from the top bottom. And you really got to keep track. Take your time. Think about what you're doing. And don't rush. Sounds like life. Okay. So, let's see. It's going over these, so it's going to go under here. So this is where it weaves also. It goes under, and then it's going to go over that one, under the next one. So this is where it kind of weaves it and keeps it spaced out and separated and looks good. Speaking about spaced out, can't really space out too much when you're doing this. Okay. I think I got it. Take that a little bit down. Okay. Is that right? Right as rain. Yesterday I had a cup of coffee on the table too, and I was rushing too much, and I watched what I was doing, and this bag looped around the cup, and when I yanked it, yanked the whole cup off and dumped it on the couch and on my lap, and a cup of coffee too, man. I almost cried. Ugh. Whoops. Wait. Okay. Over this. I'm just gonna keep on shooting. I'm learning too not to make it too tight. This babish, when it dries, it gets tight. Okay, so over and under, over and under, and over and under. So get a shotgun. I used to have it under and over. Shot crooked though. Under some come under. And not happen. You cannot have it happen. Getting sticky. Gotta wet it down. Turns into like slime if you don't get too dry. Maybe I should try it while it's dry. Just like playing with this cord. And now this is the first time. I mean, I did the other side of the snowshoe yesterday. That's the first time I've ever done a whole thing. Once upon a time, I did the where the binding where your foot goes. And that's essentially the same concept. Okay. Go under. Okay. And then this one's going over. And bazinga. And bazinga. Yeah, I kind of wish I had some braided twine for this, but I don't know. I used up all my braided twine last summer on something else. I didn't want to take time to order it right now. And I thought that I'd have a lot of this for another pair of snowshoes I'm making. These frames are not mine. They're actually, I'm doing this for somebody else. They gave them to me like 3 years ago I like fixed my snowshoes and I posted on Facebook, and then somebody's like, hey, you can do that. And go fix mine. I'm like, I didn't know how to say no. And so before I could say no, they stopped by, handed me a couple $100 and took off. And oh man, I'm talking too much. Forgot to leave it. But these frames are, well, they need a lot of work, so I really had to repair. I mean, everything, the holes, everything. Had to drum them out better because, yeah, long story. But anyway, so these frames were totally taken apart. These are going to be different snowshoes when I'm done with them. Uh, but I'm going to have to ask them for a few more bucks because that's a lot of work, especially making the babish. And I didn't have twine, so I think in the future I'll use twine like that's the way to go, you know. Because one thing, this babish, it stretches out and it's hard to. You gotta cut it right. It's got to be uniform and everything. It takes a lot of work, and also um, in the end, I don't know if it's as tough as twine. You know, twine is braided twine. I mean, braided twine is actually pretty tough stuff. Um, and for its size, and nylon twine, and you can also coat it in epoxy, and it won't rot. This stuff can rot if you coated it in epoxy, moisture could get in there through cracks and stuff, and then what am I doing? Oh yeah, and then it's gonna rot if it doesn't have any air. So it has its limitations. For the main part where your foot goes, you can use bigger babish, and it's probably more adequate because you need the big stuff, and it is tougher than twine then. Mm, but what do I know? But that's what I figure, anyways. And I would think that twine would stand up against if you're walking through the brush and you got willows and stuff. You know, could probably break this stuff, this babish, uh, if it's this small. And also, when it gets wet, it kind of gets can get be a problem. Okay, so now I'm starting to. Oh, I was supposed to start braiding it right here, actually. So I'm goofing up, but I'm just gonna go with it because this part, it's not really. I think it's negligible almost. E. But anyways, I'm gonna see. I was going under those ones, so I'm gonna go over these, under, over, under, over. After you get so far with this stuff, you braid it every time you go across or sideways or backwards. Oh yeah, no, I didn't mess up actually. I just almost messed up. I thought I was wrong, but I was right. I've never been wrong. Until I thought I was wrong. Turned out I was right. Just kidding. Okay. And up north. Once in a while you gotta adjust your spacing before it dries up too much. You really can't move it. I have to move it, move it. Okay. And I'm just learning, so I'm not actually teaching right now. I'm just talking to myself. Cross it. Yeah, this is a lot of work actually. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of babish for twine or whatever. I can see using twine is a lot more economical and easier. This stuff can get pretty finicky. Keep it dry and all that stuff. Oh, and however, coming across, yep, over all of these, yeah. See what I mean? Pay attention. I'm actually more apprehensive than anything, so half the time I think I'm doing something wrong. I probably ain't. More light listens. Okay. Under and over. Supposed to go over that one though. So really I should be coming over that one. Over. Really good. When you come from under, you end up on top. Then you can go back down, loop it, and go underneath the next one. So if you want to go under the next one, you got to come from underneath this one. So it really makes a difference. I'm going to go under this one, over that one, under this one, over that one, under this one, under this one. And that really kind of makes it all look stupid. Under that, so this side I gotta come from under. Man, this pulling this babish through these parts when it's braiding it, it really ends up stretching your babish out and making it thinner and longer. Sometimes it gets longer than when you started. especially if you're redoing it all the time, restraining it, pulling it apart, making mistakes, you know. Man, it's like, man, this babish is longer than when I started. And I'm half strung already. Okay. Under and over. Under, over. Under. That one. Over that one. Under that one. Over that one. Keeping it wet though makes it slip through a little bit easier without stretching it too much. Not too thin. Oh yeah, this one is now starting to cross here, and I guess I got to go. Now it starts braiding on this end too. That means you're halfway done at least. What am I doing? Criminy. Okay. Under and then over that one, under that one, so it starts to braid. That I heard is called the heart. Once you're halfway through, halfway done with the easy half. No, now it's the harder half because every time you go anywhere, you're gonna have to braid along the way. And you're gonna braid more and more as you go. But one good thing about the braiding is it does tighten it up, so you don't have to worry about always re-cinching it so much. Under, over, under, over. But almost done though with this part. This is the easy part. Once you get to this one, it's a whole different pattern altogether. That after how long it took me to figure it out yesterday. Hours looking at pictures and videos, and finally it's like clicked. Over. This is not the most uniform piece of babish, obviously, but it's just gonna do, you know. I'm not gonna get too picky about it. You don't want to make it too tight, man. It could start break these tie points off if you make it too tight. It really does dry and cinch up. That's how the Apaches used to tie up their prisoners, huh? Okay. I don't know. At least that's what I read in that Louis Lamar book about the babish. Okay. Wow, this piece was actually long enough. Sometimes you gotta splice it. Okay. Under all those ones over this. So I got some space I have to take care of. Man. Yeah. Yeah. Over this one. Long way, horse. I think that's right. Nope. Okay, I got a little bit too excited there. Hmm. And this thing isn't exactly a uniform pattern because there's more holes on one side than the other. I found out. It doesn't really matter too much though. Like this little loop has two tie-offs, you see, and I noticed that's in the case with both sides. Uh, and it's not just because I mismatched the sides either. I actually got them right, I think. But okay, I'm just gonna tie here. Let the entrail back through. And fix it up. Enough. And there should be sheeby heebie jeeby. Yeah, this bit of Babish isn't exactly uniform, but that's fine. I actually made some bitter stuff. This one right here is pretty uniform. This is dry and stretched. Alright, cut. Yupper. And now you hit it with a black light and it sits it. Nice. Good.